Jack Darby here, and when I'm not taking rides with Arcee, I like watching video reviews from Optibotimus.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. It's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to all of the absolutely incredible contributions from my Optibotimus Plus channel members, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Arcee. And for full disclosure, this figure was purchased from an overseas seller, but will be hitting various retail locations fairly soon. This is one that, if you do not like harsh language in your video reviews, I'm giving you a warning right now. Because I'm going to say some stuff that's probably going to upset some people, and it has nothing to do with the figure itself. Rather, it does have a lot to do with a fairly large section of this fandom. So again, if you don't like harsh language in your toy reviews, go ahead and stop watching this right now. But for the figure, for me, I really like this. There is a huge amount of people that want to hate this figure because it is not what they want. And I got news for you guys. A lot of Transformers changed. The hate on this and even Bulkhead really do remind me of all the hate that the Michael Bay redesigns sort of brought to the world. And it's kind of annoying. They can't constantly keep giving us the exact same look for these characters. For as long as I can remember, they have changed the looks. It keeps the brand fresh. I mean, hell, when you look at the classics or the Chug era of Transformers, those radically changed the way that they looked compared to their G1 days. Yet people didn't complain that much about them. They're widely regarded as some of the best Transformers that we've ever gotten. So I really am rather frustrated with the hate on this particular toy because it does not look like that first edition Arcee. This still looks like Arcee. As you can see, she's meant to homage the Transformers Prime version of the character, where she was this really nice, sporty blue motorcycle. I don't know really much about motorcycles or the types or anything of that nature, but clearly this is meant to homage that. And it is a good figure. Now you can see, weapons-wise, she does come with several. She comes with these little blades that you can plug on the side, which I don't have a problem with it. Most of the time when they have bladed weapons, they kind of plug on the side and they stick out and stuff. But they're these little Energon effect weapons, which you can plug into her forearms in robot mode and create those blades that she had in the show, or you can plug them together and you can create a shield, which is nice. She also does have some weapons here built into the front wheels. I'll show that off here in a bit. But as you can see, very much like a motorcycle should look. It's got two wheels. Doesn't stand unless you use the kickstand. It's got some purple accents, which look nice. Overall, I mean, I think that this comes together pretty decently. Motorcycles always are a little bit iffy for me, because they're always really large, obviously, and bigger than they should be. I mean, let's see. The only other Transformer figure that I have here in vehicle mode right now is the Studio Series Ratchet, but you can see that a motorcycle is not going to be this big. She scales a lot better in terms of robot mode, and that's where I really think that the kind of design is meant to kind of work with. You got this really nice translucent blue window. You do have some nice translucent blue headlights right inside there. I mean, it's a motorcycle. She does have a kickstand, so it helps you kind of stand her up, because otherwise she's just going to fall around, and then that doesn't really... No, that was pretty decent. No, it goes crazy. But, yeah, that's really about it for... I think in general, it looks pretty good. Now, for her transformation, it's actually really not that hard. Some reviewers make it seem more difficult than it really should be. A lot of them also kind of rush these videos out because they're the first ones to get them, and they don't bother spending time to actually get used to the transformation before putting out a video. First, what you're going to want to do is detach these little side pieces just like so. You can then kind of move this a little bit, and then this whole back section here will hinge down like that. Kind of lift that up, hinge that up like so. You can then come around here to the bottom, take these, get that, there we go, kind of spread these out just like that and kind of just bring that down like so. You can then take this entire section, kind of angle this, and then rotate that around like that. These arms are going to then separate and then lift up. You want to coordinate up. There's 2 joints right there. So you got a joint right here at the top, and then you got one here at the shoulder. Bring that up, and then that will lock into place. You'll hear the pop. So again, hinge this piece up, lock that into place. Kind of move these arms up, just getting those out of the way for right now. And then take this bit here, you're going to bring this down. Now, this part does get a little bit tricky. It's not hard by any stretch of the imagination. But right up inside here, you can kind of see a little gray section. Hopefully you can see that. If you have this all the way down, that cuts things off. You need to keep it on an angle to be able to rotate it freely. So getting this hinged up and out of the way. Rotating this can be tricky to do, but it really isn't that hard if you have it in the right configuration. Just kind of rotate that around just like so, and then bring these down. Bring this little crotch piece all the way around like so, and then this entire upper body will push and lock into place. That's very solidly locks that into place. Again, some people just kind of don't bother paying attention to things and keeps it like that, so it's going to be loose and floppy. But push, locks that into place, bring this piece up like that. Bring these down and around, and then take this, fold that, rotate this back, give that a good push, that'll lock that into place. This little section right here, you want to fold this forward. Don't bring it all the way forward to create a flat surface. You want to keep it bent a little bit. If you keep it all the way forward, her leg's going to be on an angle. So bring that there at that ratchet joint. It'll be perfectly fine. Bring these around again. Take this, fold this, make sure that that kickstand's out of the way. Bring that down, fold this piece there, lock that in, fold the foot out like so. Straighten all that out, bring these arms down. You can take these little side bits, slot that up like that. You can bring that up, slide those forearm pieces up just like so. This right here, you have all these little hinge pieces right here. Now, this is kind of weird. I don't know why this completely detaches. It just slots in there. Maybe it's for cleaning up the back, because you can also remove this, and this is going to be the weapon. So I guess maybe you could clean her up a little bit more, give her a little bit more of an accurate on-screen representation, but I'm okay with that being there. But you want to take this, and there's some hinges right here. You want to bring that down, lock that in, claps that in very nicely. So now that everything is kind of pushed in. So again, you got that little bar thing. You want to rotate that in, get that in like so, kind of flare these off to the side like that. Get that hinged up there. And then when you're done, there you have Arcee in what I think is a really cool looking robot mode. And I'm sorry, this is a great toy. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But it clearly homages and gives us an updated look for the Transformers Prime version of Arcee. Much like the classics Optimus did, or Sunstreaker, or Ironhide. Hell, even this guy. Seriously, seeing people complain about her not looking exactly like she did in Transformers Prime really does drive me bananas. It reminds me of when people complained about Ironhide in the Transformers movie not being a red van. Or, oh my god, Ratchet is neon green. At least this really does look like Arcee, and I think that they did a really good job. Obviously, you can see you can plug these energy effects into her forearms, which do homage those bladed weapons that she had, but you can remove those if you are so inclined. Now, this whole back section here, this bottom section can peg in and remove. I didn't show this in vehicle mode because, I mean, you would remove the tire in it, and then it just splits down the middle, and people have called it a waffle maker. It is what it is. I mean, it's not that great. But for me, it just literally looks like a double-bladed kind of weapon that's just going to spin, and she can go around blasting people. Or, hell, I mean, I guess you could kind of say it's almost like a bit of a hovercraft. I mean, you got a little hole section here. You got little holes on the bottom of the feet. You could say it's like a little hovercraft, I guess. I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I don't care about this because it's going to stay plugged in. You can also remove this. This is what I was talking about. That section can also detach, and you're left with just this as a backpack, which, I mean, it is a lot more streamlined, but honestly, it doesn't really, for me, improve the figure that much. But I do love the fact that you can remove it if you're so inclined. And then, like I said, for me, these are just going to stay sandwiched together. And if I can get it lined up properly, is that that's close enough? That's just going to stay underneath there because I don't think it really looks all that bad. And again, it does a good job of looking the way that it did in the show. And I did kind of move all this stuff around here a little bit. So hinge that up. There we go. Now, for me, I love the head sculpt. I think that it looks absolutely fantastic. Coming into, let me zoom in. Coming in to take a closer look at that. It's updated. It doesn't look exactly like she did, but it definitely looks like her. I love the light piping that's there. You can see the entire back of her head is a giant light piped piece, so you get some good light effect going through there. The purple, the blue all look really very nice. She's got her Autobot logo right there. I even like how they got these little bits here for wings. Granted, I wish those were a little bit higher. That would be a nitpick, I guess I could say, but I'm okay with them because, again, it kind of gives that look. And then other people have complained about the tires being on this side. Yeah, I mean, they are just kind of hanging out there. I guess that would probably be the ugliest part. But, I mean, again, it doesn't really bother me all that much. I mean, I don't think it is really that bad looking. I mean, the vehicle or robot mode initially just had them in the middle, which, I mean, that's not that far from where they were supposed to be. So it's roughly there. So I'm quite okay with it. As a deluxe figure, she, has that size. I wish I had some of those original Arcee figures. Fortunately, I don't. So let's bring in some ones that you may be a little bit more familiar with. Here is Bumblebee. Obviously a deluxe size figure as well, but you can see the size. She is taller than him. Here is Ratchet. These are from different lines, obviously, but you kind of get the idea of roughly how big she is. So, I mean, I think that the scale works pretty well, and for the most part fits. I am really curious to see how Bulkhead is going to fit with her, because he's obviously a larger character, so I think that it will be more noticeable. For her articulation, the head is on a ball joint. You get a great range of motion with that. Left, right, up, down, all of that is really well done. You have a shoulder swivel and hinge, so you can move it forward and back, in and out. You have a rotation at the upper part of the bicep, bend here at the elbow itself. She does have wrist articulation, which is nice to see. Coming down to the waist, you kind of move this away and she will have waist rotation, just kind of as part of the transformation, but it really isn't a lot, and you can see that will probably pull that apart. So that I'm going to have to put back in there. So it's because when you're rotating it, you got this little edge that hangs down, and it doesn't rotate all that well. So just be careful of that when you're doing it. So you do get a little wiggle, not a ton here, but the hips move forward and back. They rotate at the upper part of the thigh. The knees are really stiff, and then because it is kind of a separate piece, when you're moving it, you may have a tendency to grab this piece and like separate it, but just kind of push that right back up there. And that's perfectly fine. The ankles, as you could see, you can have her leaning forward. If you go like this, that's how she's going to end up standing. That's why I say keep the feet at that first ratchet joint, and then she stands perfectly fine. And then you can also angle those in a little bit. So very wide pose. Super, super cool looking figure. I don't get the hate. I really, really don't. I'm obviously looking at her through the eyes of somebody who does like Arcee from Transformers Prime. I know a lot of people do. I think that a lot of people saw the listing of Transformers Legacy, Arcee, and Bulkhead, and immediately thought we were going to be getting like first edition versions. That's not the case. I mean, when we first saw a lot of other characters, you don't automatically assume that they're going to be like that. Because why would you constantly keep redoing the exact same thing? You got to change it up a little bit. So I love her. I think it turned out great. There are some issues, but I think it's a great figure. For transformation back, we're going to slide these little forearm pieces down just like so. Come down here to the feet, take the toe, tuck that back like that. and then you can separate the knee, bring that all the way around. That's going to sit right there, and then rotate that piece out. Do that on this side as well. Pull away from the knee, and then fold the tire out like that. Take this little section here, you want to rotate that around towards the back, and then separate the waist section. That's going to hinge this entire thing back, and then you can bring all this up, and you can again line this up properly where you're able to rotate that around. That's really the trickiest part about her, rotating it properly so that you don't pop that waist section out. So you're going to have that, and that's going to come around. Bring these arms down on that hinge. Get that out of the way. Bring that down like that. Kind of collapse that in, and then rotate at the bicep, not the shoulder. Bring that all the way around. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Bring that around like that, and pull the whole thing off. That's not what I meant to do. Pop that in there. So you rotate that around, and then you bring the two halves together. And there are actually little slots. You can see like this little piece that sticks out here. It's on both sides. It lines in with the side of her body, which keeps these locked into place, which that's a real nice little touch. Bring this out, then rotate this all the way around, and then extend this up like that. This part here does get really fun. You just kind of bring this around where you line all this up, and then these will rotate around and down just like that. So again, bring these around. You're putting the thighs up in this front area. Here we go. Come on, get that in there. And then bring that down like so. So see, transformation is simple. It does take a little bit of origamiing to do, but it's not hard to do. And then rotate these around till you find that little hole section and plug that in, just like that. Kind of keep that all straight like so. This whole section here will bring up like that, kit it nice and lined up properly. Then this part does get a little bit tricky as well. You got a little nub thing here that's going to lock in an upper section right there, and then a little lower tab here. Kind of bring that in, get that top one to line up first, and then bring the tire around, or the bottom section, kind of put your finger in here and push outward to lock that in. There is a tendency when you're doing this to kind of push it away. So just kind of line that up, slot that in, locks in very nicely. Kind of play around with it. And when you're done, there you have Arcee in her really cool looking motorcycle mode. As I said throughout this video, I feel like there's a lot of unnecessary hate for this toy. It's not a bad toy. The transformation is fun. It is involved. But it is fairly easy to do once you know what you're doing. And in all fairness, a lot of us people that get these figures from overseas don't get instructions. So it can be a little bit more tricky. But it's not indicative of how the figure actually is. So I feel like people that are reviewing it with that as a criticism aren't being fair. Vehicle mode wise, she looks good. She's a motorcycle. Arcee was a motorcycle. Just like Optimus Prime was a truck. And in the Classics line, they made him a truck. So I mean, hey, it works. Robot mode looks great though as well. I really think that they captured a very cool updated look for her. Is it as great as that first edition Arcee? No, it's not. A lot of those first edition figures were basically perfect. It is really unfortunate that the line did not continue much past like Optimus Prime, Arcee, Bulkhead. Hell, even the Starscream figure was basically a masterpiece. But they gotta give us something different or not even bother doing it at all. So I'm glad that this figure has come out. And I think that they did a great job. Now, if this is not what you're looking for, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to buy it. You can go and buy that first edition one. Ever since those stopped being produced, the prices on them, though, have kind of gone a little bit crazy. But whatever you want for your collection, go with it. Don't bash other people because they like something. And if you're going to do a review, at least be objective. This is a good toy. So, all that being said, guys, if this version of Arcee is one that you would like to add to your collection, as I said, I did get mine from an overseas seller. However, she will be hitting various retail locations fairly soon. So good luck and happy hunting. Or as always, you can do the real simple thing and just go online to places like Big Bad Toy Store or Amazon. For both of those places, I'll put links right down there in the video description, where you can head on over there and check out availability on her, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. Beyond that, guys, that's about it. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And please remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all for watching and taking the time to be a kid.